And you're welcome back to Off the Ball Saturday here on News Talk. John Duggan with you through to 5 this evening. Remember, Ireland play Australia this evening in the rugby, and Ireland and Munster rugby player Peter Mahoney has been announced as an ambassador for Aviva Ireland. Peter has been supporting Aviva Ireland's Christmas donation drive. For every Aviva home insurance policy sold this festive season, Aviva Ireland will donate €10 to charity through its partner Food Cloud. Visit aviva.ie/Food Cloud. Peter, how's the form?
Very good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks, Peter. And Australia, the Wallabies coming to town for the final game of this November series. How do you think the challenge will differ to the Springboks, Peter?
Yeah, look, it's going to be a different challenge, obviously. Different group, different style of play. Lots of ways there'll be similarities. I think this Australian maul is very impressive. You look at the Brumbies in the Super Rugby. Probably the best maul there in the last few years, and I think they're dangerous there. Very expansive game, and they like to play wide. So certainly a different challenge, but one that we're looking forward to.
How ferocious was the Springboks game for you, Peter, and for the team? Was it something that you were really satisfied with? Because there's been this talk about physicality and that, and we beat New Zealand, and now we've beaten the world champions. So the confidence must be huge in the camp.
Yeah, look, it was certainly it was a huge game for us. Obviously being back at home and World Cup champions we hadn't played in a long time. So it was a big test for us, and we were very happy with the win. But speaking earlier, there was we hadn't even sat down in the dressing room, and there was conversations going around the place of what we could have done better and how we could have improved our performance, and little moments that we potentially missed, and some poor discipline, and I think that's a good sign of where the group is at. We're looking. We're always looking to improve and obviously, get better as a group, really challenge each other. And it was an encouraging discussion to have after a game that, obviously it was very important and a big occasion. But after getting the win, we were still having those conversations immediately after the game, it's a good sign, I think.
Yeah, we're continuing to hone our craft a year out from the World Cup, and it's important to see new personnel coming in. And Stuart McCluskey and Jimmy O'Brien will be your teammates on Saturday night as well.
Yeah, look, Stu. I think Stu's been, he's been, if not Ulster's most important player for them for a good few years now. And has been performing very well for a long time. So it's great to see him getting a good run of games for us. And Jimmy he's been brilliant since he came in. It seems to be the crop of that, the young players, their ability to learn and have almost really experienced heads on them even when they start camp, and obviously they've we all want to learn, but their ability to pick things up and their hunger to get better is very impressive. And obviously Jimmy's been putting in an incredible performance for Leinster again like Stu for a couple of seasons now, and just deserves for where they are.
I noticed, Peter, last year you talked about how enjoyable it was to be part of Andy Farrell's camp, and what specifically is enjoyable about the spirit and the vibe and the way we're being obviously gone down to New Zealand and winning that tour? What specifically is really gelling with everybody at the moment?
Look, sometimes it's hard to put a finger on it. Obviously, the most important thing is you're around really good people and people you really enjoy being around. Sometimes that's taken for granted. Andy and the group have really developed, I suppose, an atmosphere that is very enjoyable. It's easy to figure things out. It's everyone is looking to improve, and everyone is looking to, push barriers, learn together. Information being passed around between, people who are competing with each other. But again, and Andy would always come back to this. It's about the person you are and the people that you are, and I think we've some really good people around, added to the fact that they're incredibly ambitious and really, I suppose, coachable and hungry to learn. It's a really good dynamic.
Paul O'Connell, former teammate of yours, now involved in the camp. Has the relationship changed at all with yourself and Paul? How is he influencing you personally? How is he influencing the whole forward unit?
Yeah, look, it's been great having him back. We all, I think, at this point understand, the qualities that Paul brings. Again, a great person to have around camp, but obviously his professionalism, his hunger to improve, like he was as a player, hasn't changed at all, and is rubbing off on the group straight away. You can see from what he's delivering to us in the forward group, guys are starting to pick it up, and for me personally, it's great to have him around. Someone I've always looked up to and have a huge amount of respect for. Messages are hugely thought out and have a huge amount of preparation behind them, and that gives you great confidence as a pack, as an individual, as a team, when someone like that is there. So it's great to have him back.
Peter, when I look at you on a rugby pitch, and I say a lot of other people feel the same, the kind of view is that you give it absolutely everything on that rugby pitch. But I'm sure you have to get through the 80 minutes as well. How much are you good at working out the time in terms of having reserve fuel in the tank, or is it just a case that you're just going hell for leather for the whole game?
Look, I think when you get selected for Ireland, that's what it takes, and that's what the jersey and the selection deserves. You can't be. You can't say against South Africa that I'm going to hold back here 20% because we've Australia in a few weeks or we Fiji next week. It's for me, and I'd imagine a lot of the guys wouldn't disagree. You're all in, and you're all in because it's your country, and that in itself it should be enough. And then you add to it, obviously that. The people that are around you and the people you're playing for, that's what drives me, and that's what I enjoy about it. And that's to me, that's the respect that it deserves when you get selected for your country.
When you deliver those turnovers for Ireland or for Munster, it gives everybody a lift. It gives the crowd a lift. Does it feel like internally that you've almost scored a try?
No, it doesn't. Look, some of them are. Look, obviously, there's timing, and some of them is important, and guys like Caelan, Nick Timoney, obviously Josh is, he's playing off the wall stuff. These guys have great feel and timing for some of those big moments, and sometimes they can be really important, absolutely, but. That's part of the job spec, really, isn't it?
It is, and it's been a great year, Peter, with the Triple Crown win, with the win over the Springboks recently, and obviously that historic win in New Zealand, which I know you were so emotional about. What was the key upon reflection for that win against the All Blacks, that series win, do you think?
It's hard to pick out one key moment or one, key reason. Obviously we've been, Andy put us in a position where we had 5 games, obviously in 3 weeks, and we had a big touring party. Kind of test weeks weren't what they would normally be, maybe leading up to a Six Nations game, and it was kind of designed to put us kind of out of our comfort zone, and I think we adapted quite well. To go behind game 1, away from home, you've never won there. Not a good start, not an ideal start, but I do remember the review afterwards, and even the feeling after the game, thinking, we had them under pressure. There was moments that we left behind us, and look at this. If we get these few things right, and we don't do these couple of silly things, discipline a little bit better, breakdown a bit better, then we'll be well able to crack it. And we did that. Obviously, we give ourselves a chance in the second test, and you need a big performance then when your series is on the line. And I think we had 3 big performances. Obviously, people talk about the second and third, but I think we actually performed quite well in that first test, and it gave us a huge amount of belief. And I think the way we reviewed the game was really important, and again gave guys a lot of belief on the scoreline. Maybe mightn't have put it down like that on paper, but the way we reviewed the game was really important, and it gave us a lot of belief.
We were down there a decade ago when we lost 60-0, Peter, and I'm just wondering about the mentality of Ireland now, and the psyche, and the fact that we won't be intimidated. Look, it was caught on camera and it's just part of the heat of battle that you compared Sam Kane on Favourby to Richie McCaw, and that's just part of the deal. But is there something in our psyche that we really feel now that we can take on the big guns like New Zealand, like France, like South Africa, and have a real chance now next year at this World Cup?
Look, very different group, very different, rugby back in, I don't know what year was that we toured there. Was it
2012?
12. Rugby in 2022-3 is it's different. It's a different sport, we've come a long way. Different group, different experiences. I remember I look back at that. I was out of my depth. Certainly felt that way. But these are experiences that you go back to and that you learn a lot from. And I know I'm very grateful and pinch myself the odd time that I'm still playing rugby for Ireland. 10 years later after that. But you accumulate experiences. And they stand to you, and we spoke the other day about young players coming in now that why do they have to experience? Why should they have to experience that? Why can't we just we don't have to tell them about it, but if we can understand that if we do these things properly, these things don't have to happen. We can be really good in our own right, and they shouldn't have to go through that kind of stuff. For some of the older fellas who've been through some of those days. So, look, I think they're really important for the group, those experiences, and the lads who are a little bit older. And it is a different group, and it's a different coaching group, different feeling about it. And you can see the big thing that we're going after is our performances and backing them up with bigger ones. And, we would have been, there's parts of that South African game we were disappointed with, to be honest. And the lads have come out and said themselves last week that last week wasn't good enough, because we talked about, upping the level again from South Africa. And, next week is our challenge now to put in the best performance of the year against a really good Australian side. And that's the challenge for us this week.
How was the game changed as you outlined there, Peter?
It's hard to make comparisons, between I would imagine ball and play time, to rules, to athletes, to coaching, to it's a different sport. We came across some footage of the 2005 Lions tour. I know that's going back a bit further, but it's completely off the wall, the difference in it, in every aspect of rugby. There were some aspects, the physicality, maybe the confrontation. People have got bigger, but it was a hugely physical game back then. There's no doubt about that. But the technical side of it, the coaching, the tactics, it's hard to compare, really.
Just to finish, the World Cup, is that even on the radar of discussion within the group at the moment?
Is it on our radar?
Yeah.
Look, we're not going to sit here and say that we're not planning to perform well in the World Cup, but our our way of doing it and navigating it is by backing up performances now. Like, you can't go there and expect to be performing well there and at first click and have, struggle through Six Nations or struggle through November. You want to be performing and winning games, and that's what we're planning on doing at the moment. And all this is for learnings and experiences to hopefully when we get there and get the opportunity. Like, there's no point saying otherwise to that. But we're not going to go around and be shouting from the rooftops that we want to make semi-finals or we want to win World Cups. We want to perform in big games leading up to it to give ourselves the best shot to perform in the pool stages and in games beyond.
And just to finish, Peter, it's been a great year professionally for you and also personally. How was the wedding?
The wedding?
Yes.
Gosh. Yeah, look, it was kind of 3 years later. We cancelled it 2 or 3 times. We had been married at home in the meantime, so it was really nice to be able to celebrate with people who were obviously very important and close to us. Some people who you hadn't touched base with in a while that were, very important in our lives at different points. And then obviously, people who we were very close to at the moment. And it was a great experience and good fun, yeah.
Congratulations, Peter, on the wedding with Jessica. The best of luck against the Wallabies. And thank you for speaking to Off the Ball Saturday here on News Talk.
Thanks a million, lads. Thank you.